Hi, my name is Amy Sinha, and I am here with American bass player Clint Eastwood. Hi Kyle.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Is this your first time in Swansea?
I believe it is. I mean, I've played in Wales a few times, but I think it's actually the first time for Swansea, yes.
So what are you doing here today?
Well, we just arrived and we're just setting up and for the concert tonight. So, we're going to be playing some music from my latest album and some of my older ones as well, and maybe a little film music that I've written as well. We'll see.
Wow, you write film music?
I do, yeah. I've written off and on for the last 5 or 6 years. I've done some film scores for my father's and some other ones here and there, a few documentaries and other things.
Excellent. So, tell me, Kyle. Obviously, played bass for a long time. You played for a long time?
I started on piano when I was very young, and then I kind of switched to bass as a teenager, and I started really studying bass when I was, I guess, 18 or so, 17, 18.
What was it about the bass that caught you?
I was always, my ear was always kind of drawn to the bass and drums, really, and really I had a good friend of mine was quite a good drummer, and so I got relegated to playing bass. But I picked up the bass and it kind of came naturally to me, And from what I knew at piano, I kind of taught myself bass at first, and it just kind of seemed natural to me.
So did you go on to study it further at music college?
I did. Well, I went to university as a film major, and because I was interested in possibly becoming a director, but at that time I started doing more and more music, and so I kind of took a leave from school and just to pursue music, and I never went back really. So I just studied privately with people, and a lot of some just teaching myself.
Wow. So who did you study with?
I studied with a French bassist for a while who's been living in the States for a very long time, named Bunny Brunel, who used to play with Herbie Hancock and Shakira and people like that. And then I did a couple lessons here and there with like Ray Brown and some people from around LA actually, and other musicians as well. Pianists sometimes, or even I occasionally took a lesson with a saxophone player, just not actually on that instrument per se, but just to get other musicians' approaches to music.
Wow. So when did you move to the UK? Do you live in the UK?
No, I live in Paris actually, quite a bit of time. But I spent about a year, or a little more than a year in the UK about 6-7 years ago actually. So that's where I met most of the musicians that I'm playing with here tonight, because they're all London-based musicians. And
who are you playing with tonight?
It's Andrew McCormack who's playing piano, and Graham Blevins on saxophones, and Quentin Collins on trumpet, and Martin Kane on the drums.
So have you always been into jazz, or?
That was a lot of what was playing around the house when I grew up. So both my mother and father are very big jazz fans, and music fans in general, really. So, and then they both play, so they started me early on piano, but I listened to all different kinds of music. I think jazz was always something I heard from a young age, so that's kind of why I got interested in it, I guess. But I listened to everything.
You say you do film music. Is what type of genre would you say that was? Like, was it pop based or jazzy based?
For film music, well, a lot of the time it's orchestral kind of stuff. If you're doing just background score, so. But you have to be ready to do whatever is needed, really. So sometimes I've written sort of source cues where it's music that's supposed to be playing on the radio, so it can be popish or sometimes something that's sort of like a blues piece that's supposed to be in a bar or something, or orchestral music, for the score.
Wow, that's amazing. That's something. So something about your latest album. When did you release it?
It's actually been out for about a year, a little more than a year now, actually. So we're actually getting ready to do another one, I think, after the summer. But it's been out, a little over a year.
And what is it called?
Songs from the Chateau.
Ooh. Did you record them in a chateau?
We did. We actually recorded at a chateau down in Bordeaux in the wine country, and so we the kind of the idea was to do something that was, or do it in a setting that was a little less clinical than a recording studio. So a friend of mine was very gracious enough to let us move into his house and set up and play for a couple of days and record. So that's what we did.
So is what you're doing, is this a tour that you're doing, or is it just a load of dates on?
Well, we're kind of been doing a lot of dates in the UK for last month and this month. So we're doing a UK leg right now, and then in the summer we'll be kind of bouncing around Europe for the most part through August anyway.
Excellent. So who do you say you played with? You've played with a lot of bands, or just your band? Or
well, right now I've been mainly focusing on my band. I mean, there's other musicians I work with here and there. You know, some in Paris, and then these musicians here in the UK, and then there's some musicians in New York. I lived in New York for a long time before moving to Europe. So there's musicians in New York that I work with. So, but yeah, I've been kind of trying to focus on developing the sound of this band for the last 5-6 years now.
Is it just jazz, or is it funk, or different types?
I mean, it has a lot of
electric bass as well.
Yeah, it has a lot of influences. I mean, I'd say it's sort of jazz based, but it has influences of funk music and R&B and probably some film-esque qualities as well.
Wow, excellent. Well, good luck tonight, and I hope
Thank you.
Well. One last question.
Yeah.
I kind of do a lot of questions on my Facebook, quite random, but I did actually ask this question the other day, and I got some really cool responses. So
Okay.
If you could be any note on the piano, what would it be and why?
That's a good question. Any note on the piano?
Any note.
On the piano?
Yep.
Let me think, I guess.
So
I guess E maybe.
E.
Because it's it's kind of, well, it's usually one of the lowest notes on the bass actually. So it's a good key for bass to play in. I mean,
so the low E.
Key. Yeah, low E. Yeah.
The low E.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.